People sometimes think that advocacy is just about reacting to a situation where something goes wrong. But as you noted before, an important function of advocacy is actually a preventative role. So how does an advocate go about taking action that prevents bad things happening to people with disability?
Well, you're quite right. We can be drawn into just responding and reacting when things occur, but sometimes our advocacy is towards people who we should have been aware that things can go wrong in an instant and begin to predict the kind of things that put a person at particular risk. So our knowledge of the person is really critical. What are the things that tend to place this person at some degree of risk, whether it's a health risk, whether it's a reputational risk, and therefore kind of things that act in a preliminary way. And it's interesting, it's one of the areas, Bob, that in the life of many people, whether it's their services or their workers, there's a kind of reluctance to acknowledge the existence of a vulnerability, a susceptibility to things going bad, and going bad in an instant where people might lose their homes or decisions get made that, you can't stay there anymore, and things can change overnight. And so advocates become very wary about this, their identification with people and their vulnerability to those kind of things, the control that other parties can have in their life, and therefore being really aware of those kind of things and taking advanced lines of defence with respect to that. The advocate has to be primarily loyal to the person they represent, and it's through their independence that the potency of what they've got and the vigour of their action, if need be, is demonstrated because they've got no other tie. This is one of the things, many staff members have good hearts and can see that things aren't right for people, but the very fact that they're employed by an employer that may be the target of the advocacy compromises their ability. They need the job, they're paying off a mortgage. So you can see how that would readily compromise the vigour of their advocacy. They see the need for it, but they're not able to act and speak out because, well, I could lose my job and that's the end of that. That is, they can easily be got at. An independent advocate can't easily be got at, if at all. And that means you can't shut down this voice. This question of independence allows the advocate then to be as vigorous as necessary. And what's interesting is that their independence is seen by other parties as well. Other parties know that this advocate could go to the minister, could go to the media, could go as far as they needed to go to resolve this issue. That is, there's no other form of loyalty that they owe to any party that would, as it were, compromise their vigour. And so it's not that they have to do all of that, it's just that they could, that gives the potency to the advocate. And often the other parties know that. You want strength in your corner, and you don't want someone representing you who's got a tie to the very person that they're appealing to. There's a divided loyalty, a kind of conflict of interest that just destroys the effectiveness of advocacy.